Next up, Manchester City.
Fantastic team. Obviously, bitterly disappointed with last season's, to be honest, performance. Losing 9 games, like Tank touched up on earlier. Yeah, it's with the squad that they have and the magnitude. Losing 9 games is very poor. 81 points. Is it 18, 19 points behind Liverpool?
Yeah.
They are bitterly disappointed with that. This year, I think they'll put it right. Although, like Leroy Sané, David Silva, the great Claudia Bravo is gone. However, I think I like these players that they signed. Ferran Torres, a lot different from Leroy Sané. Doesn't get you all those goals or assists. His isn't that spectacular. But Luis Enrique, the Spanish manager, said that he's one of the best crossers of the ball in the world. So maybe we'll see some of that ability next season. Yeah, Nathan Ake, good backup defender. Obviously, good squad player. I think he's going to do well. And Koulibaly possibly coming in. Who knows? But they definitely need a centre back. 100%. If they get that right, if they don't get it right, I think they're still going to finish first. Champions. They're going to, champions.
Yeah, so I'm going to totally disagree with you.
Yeah.
Like you said, losing 9 games, they're very, very lucky to be finishing second in the league, in my opinion, with a 9 games loss. That's just unheard of in traditional Premier League in the last 10 years. It's been a lot better contested in general. So I think that's very, very poor. I think Guardiola had an atrocious season, really. They won the Carling Cup, right? I think they did finish well. They won their last 5 games in a row. So that's pretty good. They start away to Wolves, so that would be a nice, tough start there. And then they go to Leicester, away to Arsenal, home to Leeds.
Oh, tasty game.
Tasty start for Man City.
Yeah.
I don't understand. You just said Ake. Like, I'm not going to call him a rubbish player or anything, but I cannot get my head around this one. Like you said, I think they desperately needed a centre-back. They got some guys who just aren't really that good. Stones didn't really live up to the hype. So Laporte is obviously one of the best defenders in the world. No one's doubting that. But he had the big injury last year. He does need a stable partner. And Ake, I'm just very surprised about this one. It's almost 50 million they paid for him. And
he's a top player.
I don't see him as a top player. I see him as a very much...
And he ex-Chelsea.
Ex-Chelsea.
Chelsea made him,
World class. I see him as sort of a bottom half of the table sort of player. Start for a Burnley or something like that. He's decent on the ball. A Chelsea, yeah. Actually, it's very surprising. I mean, I know Bournemouth are down, so we're not really going to touch on them, but they sold all their defence basically to the Premier League this year. There's quite a few Premier League players who've been dipping in there. As you said, also Callum Wilson is going to be taken by Newcastle, so a lot of people rating Bournemouth, and they seem happy to sell. So I don't think we'll see Bournemouth coming back to the Premier League anytime soon. But going back to Man City, I predicted that they will finish second. I think they will do better, but I think they need some serious investment if they're going to get that second place. I don't think what they've done so far is enough. Letting Sané go as well, I think that's a terrible mistake. Obviously, he wanted to leave, so it wasn't really in the hands.
Yeah.
But they've got to sign a big player. And losing David Silva as well. Foden is a very promising player, had a very poor game for England. One of the worst performances I've seen of him to date in the week. Anyway, second place, Manchester City. Pep Guardiola to pull it back a little bit. Maybe go for the Champions League again. But will City sack him if he doesn't get the Premier League and the Champions League again? Over to dog meat. What do you think?
Potentially, if he doesn't win the league or the Champions League or gets... I think I read a stat that he hasn't gone past the quarter-final stage with any other team other than Barcelona. So I think that was the reason why Bayern fired him or he left or whatever. But you're seeing a consistent theme there with City as well, for someone who's got a ton of backing financially from the club, Bayern and City, and he's not reached past the quarterfinals. That's a little shocking. I think he'll get there this year. However, losing, was it 9 games last year we spoke about? A stat that may persuade them to get a bit closer. They did score 102 goals, at least, 15, 20 goals and then more than Liverpool. And he only conceded 2 more than Liverpool. So for me, I think if City do get it right defensively, I think they'll improve there. I think Liverpool will come off a little bit. I think they'll just nick it. But yeah, for me, City I think they'll win the league. I think they'll get a little bit closer in the Champions League, maybe a semi-final spot. But I think they'll just pip Liverpool this year.
Okay.
Interesting.